Instagram. So, hey, what's up, guys, in YouTube land? I'm gonna go live on Instagram, and then we are ready to rock and roll. What's going on, Leslie? It is so good to see you. I hope you are doing well. So, hey, guys, I'm gonna get into what I get this question all the time, right? So, I was like, okay, let me do a step back, right? Thanks, Leslie. Good to see you. I'm going to take a step back, and I kind of wanted to go back in the archives. MLRM Graphics. Hey, MLRM Graphics. Good to see you on here. So I thought I would go back kind of in the archives, right, and just see, let's just see. If I were to get started right now, what would I do differently? How would I, what would I be doing? And so that's what I'm going to go over today. So I would just say grab your pens and papers if you want to take some notes here. So first and foremost, where should you start? If you're trying to make money in the online space, Angelique, where should we start? And so I wanted to get into that because I think that that's a pressing question. And it's definitely a question that I had when I was first getting started. Like, how do I get started? So first and foremost, hey, MLRM Graphics, how are you? If I were you, if I was just getting started right now, I would first figure out in the online space. There's a lot to do in the online space. There's drop shipping, there is affiliate marketing, there is courses, there are blogs, there's YouTube. Like, there's so many different. You could be an influencer. So first, you got to figure out which one you think you want to be. So if you are great at talking, if you're a great talker, I know some of y'all love to talk. Boy, do y'all love to talk, boy. If you're that person and you love to talk, you might want to think about doing YouTube. I mean, it just makes sense. Or you might want to, or if you're a great person at connecting people, you might want to be an influencer. If you are, if you're somebody who likes to teach, you might want to get into online courses. If you're somebody who's great at writing, you might want to help people with copywriting, or you might want to actually do an ebook. So first, you got to figure out, if you're trying to make money in the online space, let's figure out where you want to start. I'm all about online creation with regards to ebooks and blogs and, digital marketing, all of that stuff. But that might not be for everybody. So you first and foremost, you got to figure out what's going to be your lane. And like I said, you can be a blogger, you can be a influencer. If you're an influencer, you're definitely going to have to get a lot of people in your audience. But once you do, you can turn that into money. If you love to talk, get on YouTube. If you like to do videos, like, start to think, like, what's your zhuzh? What's your thing? That's the first thing you want to do. Okay. So first and foremost, figure that one out. The next thing you want to do is really start figuring out what's your skill set. So a lot of people are like, well, Angelique, what do I need to be an entrepreneur? What do I need to make it to be in order to be in the online space? And if I could say anything that has led to my success in the online space, you guys know what it would be? Anybody have any takers? Anybody know what it would be? Consistency. I think that is the only reason I'm still here, you guys, like, literally, is because I just continue to show up. And even in 2019, you guys know I got started in 2019. And it took me a little bit of time. I didn't get to my first, like, breakout year until hey, Anita, how's it going? I didn't really get to my first breakout year. I started in 2019 till 2021. It took me a couple of years to actually start really making a dent in this thing. But consistency, you guys, a lot of you guys, I have so many clients, and you guys come on and you might do a live like 2 or 3 times. You're like, Angelique, nobody's paying attention or nobody's buying from me. Okay, but you got to continue to show up. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, and I've told this to people before. 2019, I only had one taker, and that was at $47. Like, if I would have given up because nobody bought from me in 2019, I wouldn't be here today. If you think of everybody who's been around, they just keep showing up. So one of the things you got to build this muscle is that you need to continue to show up, even if nobody's paying attention. Just show up, because you know what? Somebody's going to show up, and you're going to catch them on that day. You're going to catch them on that day where they can't stand their boss, and you're going to be talking all about how you can leave your boss, and they're going to be like, oh, that's who I want to talk to. That's who I want to work with. You're going to find that person. What is that? House of Malasan. Hey, House of Malasan, how's it going? Good to see you on here. You're going to catch that person on that day when they're trying to flip a home and they just can't figure out the numbers. And here you come and you say, like, hey, if you need help with the numbers, or if you need help figuring out how to flip a home correctly, or any of this, somebody's going to be like, oh my gosh, you're exactly. So you got to just continue to show up. You never know when someone's going to get that email that you just sent. So I think that you got to develop these strong, hey, House of Malasan, you got to be consistent. You got to continue to show up repetitively. Another thing you got to do is you got to provide value for free. And probably a lot of people don't want to hear that. I get that from my clients all the time. They're like, Angelique, how much do I give for free? What do I get to give for free? And you can decide that along the way, but start at least giving people some value for free. How much of that you can decide, but you got to provide value for free because nobody's going to pay in the beginning until they know what they can get out of it. The way they can know what they can get out of it is by you providing them value in the beginning so they can see if you know what you're talking about. Okay. Once you're more established, you might not have to do that, but in the beginning, you're gonna have to do that. And even people who are really established, Tony Robbins, Oprah, Deepak, they give stuff for free too. So if they're doing it, I think you should do it too. Another thing is you're gonna have to be vulnerable. If I'm being honest, you guys, in the beginning, I just came on and everything was perfect, even though it wasn't perfect, but that was what I portrayed. And I wasn't getting anybody to buy from me. And the feedback that somebody secretly, gave me the little secret, they're like, hey, you're just too polished and you're too perfect and you're acting like life is too good and nobody wants that. It wasn't until I got vulnerable. I was like, hey, I had to come into the online space because I ended up having blood pressure issues. And so I had to get out of my, stressful job. That's when I started seeing people. It wasn't until I kind of let people know, like, hey, I did a webinar and nobody showed up. Does anybody else ever have? It wasn't until I really opened up that people began to buy from me because they began to see themselves reflected. Like, hey, what's up, Latina? How are you? Good to see you on here. It wasn't until people began to see, like, hey, oh yeah, I've done a webinar too and nobody showed up. So they began to identify with me. And what I also would do was like, hey, I'm gonna do another webinar. Here's what I'm gonna do differently. And then I was able to provide them with value on, hey, here's some tips on how I started getting people to come to my webinar. So again, you guys be vulnerable. Like if you're trying to figure out what skill set you need, I said you need to be vulnerable. I said you need to be consistent. You also need to provide value. A lot of times some value for free. And then tell some stories about yourself. I think that also has helped me make it in the online space because I'm always bringing some stories. Like, like I said, how I did a webinar and nobody showed up, or how the first year of business I only made $47, or how at the beginning of this year my sales were kind of interesting, and I brought that to you guys. I was vulnerable, but I also told stories, and I figured out like, okay, so you guys, I'm gonna try this. And then I started trying that. I tried different things, but I also told stories. I told stories about how I was in corporate America and it wasn't working out for me, or how I was trying to, build this corporate ladder, things of that. Start to bring your story. So those would be some of the things that I would say you need to develop. So first and foremost, figure out what are you going to do in the online space. Is it Ola Melican? Oh, hey, Julie, it's good to see you on here. So first and foremost, what are you going to bring to the space? Like, are you going to be a blogger? Are you going to be an influencer? Are you going to do courses? Are you going to do ebooks? If you're a great talker, get on YouTube. If you write well, be a copywriter. Like first and foremost, if you're coming to the space, what are you going to do? That's going to be the first thing. Second thing, you need to figure out what you need to develop to stay in this space. And then the next thing I want you to figure out is where is your audience? This is key, you guys. I cannot tell you how long I was just everywhere. I was on Instagram and Facebook, and I was everywhere trying to find an audience that wasn't even there. I was talking to corporate women. You should know where I should have been on? Pinterest, because that is 80% women and most of them make 60,000 or more. Or I should have been on LinkedIn, corporate women. I wasn't. So if I can begin to save you some time and effort, figure out. So let me help you out with this. If you're speaking to millennials, get on Instagram. That's where your people are. Okay. Maybe you help millennials get into C-suite or go from managerial to director. You help them with resumes. Go on Instagram. But like I said, if you're talking to mompreneurs or Christian female entrepreneurs, business women, get on Pinterest, you guys. 80% women. If that's your target, go where your target is at, my friend. Like that is the best thing you can do for yourself. Instead of trying to be on every platform, you don't need to be on every platform. Maybe 2 or 3. Just find out where your people are. Get on LinkedIn. If you talk to attorneys or doctors, that's where they're at. If you talk to people who are bankers and people who are maybe like dermatologists and dentists, they're on LinkedIn. They might not still see me blooming this. I love your passion. Oh, thank you, Julius. Yeah, you guys, come on. You got to figure out where your people are. Okay. If you're into politics, get on X. Used to be Twitter, but that's where you need to be. You got to do this. You really got to figure out where your audience is and then go fish there. There's no reason to be, you can be on all the platforms, but make sure you direct your attention. I've seen so many people who have a health, like good stuff on health and wealth, they're doing really well on TikTok, you guys. So these are the things, you guys got to start thinking about this. Go where your people are at. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of time being on the wrong platforms and you're going to get frustrated and quit. And I don't want you to do that. So in order for me to help you not quit, I'm giving you what didn't work for me, so you won't do it. Okay. So just figure out where you need to be, where your people are at, and go fish there. And then also, if I was just getting started, figure out what equipment you're going to need. Okay. This is a big one. Sometimes I know when I first got started, I didn't have a ring light. I have a ring light now, but I didn't at the time. Are you going to need a ring light? Like, are you going to be doing video? If you're going to be doing video, you need a ring light. A ring light is, I hope you saw that. That's a ring light, okay? Hopefully you guys can see that, but that's all a ring light is, because sometimes people are like, what is a ring light, Angelique? So that's what a ring light is. It brings light. It brings your brightness, okay? You might need a microphone. If you're going to be doing podcasting, you need a microphone, a good microphone, okay? So get your equipment now, like, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. This stuff is on Amazon. I remember when I first got started, I didn't have any money. And I think maybe I charged it, put it on a credit card. I had to get a microphone and a ring light, but they've gotten me through. But figure out what equipment you need. Do you need Loom or Zoom? Do you need Loom is a way to screen record. So if you're going to be doing videos, or if you're going to be having PowerPoints where you need to point and click and show people where they're at, get Loom or Zoom, either of the two. They're very, very, very easy to pay for. I think they're like 10 or 15 bucks a month, but you got to figure out what do you need in order. What is the software that you're going to need? Like I said, if you're doing podcasting, you're going to need certain types of software so it can mix things. If you're doing ebooks, you might want to look into Canva, Canva, and that can be for free. If you're going to be helping people with, WordPress websites or Wix websites, you need to figure out the equipment that you're going to need. Do this early. Don't try to get a client and then do it, because you're going to be scrambling. And then last but not least, you got to really figure out, how are you going to figure out if people have gotten results? Okay. How are you going to figure out if people have gotten results? Are you going to help them lose 20 pounds? What's the result people get as a result of working with you? What is the goal that you're going to figure out what the goal is going to be now? So are you helping them lose weight? Are you helping them get rid of their diabetes? Are you helping them grow their hair? Are you helping them have a course at the end? What are you doing? What is the result? What is the result you'll get them to? You got to figure that out in the beginning too, because that's what you're going to market. You're going to tell them like, hey, I can help you do this. So first and foremost, you got to figure out what that is. And one of the things I did, like one of the results I was able to get, one of my clients, Emmanuel, you can look at him in my testimonials. I need to post his testimonial more. Once he started work with me, we got his email list together. I'm sorry, not his email list. I helped him create his emails. We did a challenge together, and he made $5,500 on that first challenge. Chanel and I worked together. Suzanne, Amy, you guys have seen the results of those of my clients, but you got to figure out what's the result that you're going to get people. Okay. That's really, really key, because nobody need to come out with a course or ebook or a blog or a podcast if you don't have a goal in mind. Like, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to talk about in your podcast every single week or every other week? Like, what is the goal? So those are pretty much the things I would key in on if I was just now getting started. If you really want to start making money in the online space, again, you guys, it took me 2-3 years. 2 years for me to even start making real money. I want to avoid that for you. You should be able to make money in your first year. There's no reason why you can't do that, especially if I can help you shortcut things. So again, just to recap, figure out what's going to be your business model. What are you going to do? Are you doing blogs? Are you doing podcasting? Are you doing courses? Are you doing ebooks? Are you doing affiliate marketing? Are you going to be an influencer? What do you want to do in the online space? And you can figure that out by figuring out what are you great at. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. If you're good at writing, do ebooks. If you're great at talking, get on YouTube, become an influencer. If you're great at video, you could do live streams. You can do a podcast that's live, or you can do what I do, e-courses. I'm all about the digital e-course space because it makes a lot of money. But figure out whatever your lane is going to be. I'm all about digital products. So all of them, they make money. All of them make money. Also, start being more consistent, showing up more often. Even if nobody shows up with you, stay consistent, be vulnerable, tell your story, be transparent, provide some type of value so that people continue to click in to figure out, well, if she gives this away for free, how much better if I start paying him or her? Start thinking about that. And then just figure out where your people are. If they're on YouTube, go there. Start showing up on YouTube on a weekly basis or every other day or something like that. If they're on Instagram, and how do you figure this stuff out? Just Google it, Chat GPT it. If I'm looking for 24-year-old women who live in an urban space and are looking to get into a side hustle, where can I find them online? Put that in there. The information is going to come right to you. Hey, if I'm looking for baseball players who just retired but are looking to be on podcasts, where can I find them? It's going to come up with some information. Okay. So that's how you can find out where your people are, and then go put some content on those places. Figure out the equipment that you're going to need. Like I said, if you're on a podcast, you're going to need a good, there's so many different apps you can use. One that my coach just gave me, was Buzzsprout, but there's plenty of other apps you can use. You can also do it on YouTube and have your podcast, but have a good microphone. I would just say have a ring light if you're doing videos. Use Canva, Zoom, Loom to figure out, if you're doing Zoom or Loom, you're going to do recordings. Canva has beautiful, gorgeous slides, all of that stuff. And it can also be your place to do ebooks. And then also you definitely want to figure out what's the result you're going to get people to, so that you can start marketing that and telling people like, hey, I can help you lose 20 pounds. I can help you with your mindfulness. I can help you grow your locks. I can help you do meal prepping, whatever it is that you do. What's the goal you're going to get them to? Figure that out now so you can use that as a marketing tool. Okay. So those are the tips and tricks that I would use if I was just getting started now. I get this question at least once a week. Like, hey, Angelique, how do I get started? This is how you get started making money online. Again, I wish somebody would have walked me through these steps, because it wouldn't have taken me 2 years to really start making money. But hey, I went through all the bumps and bruises, so you don't have to. So I appreciate everybody who stayed to the end. You guys are great. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. Other than that, I am doing I'm doing a masterclass tomorrow, which is going to be Wednesday, depending on what you're. Oh, you're welcome, MRM Graphics, MLRM. I'm doing a masterclass tomorrow if you want to pop on at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going over all the steps to actually put together an online course. And I'm also talking a little bit more about digital products. I'm showing you how to market everything with a full-on marketing plan. So if that's something you'd be interested in, or you need some help with that, come join us. If you're on Instagram, the link is in my bio. If you are in YouTube or Facebook, the link is below. But I'd love to have you join us. You can ask me questions. You can interact with other people. You might find a client on that masterclass if you just put out in the chat what you do. We've had people connect that way and make some money on that masterclass and in my challenges. So I welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on into the masterclass, and I'd love to answer your questions. And I always welcome feedback as well. So I'll see you guys next time. But again, if you watch this as a replay, #replay me so I know that you were here. You guys have been great. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the inside. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel. So it's Angelique Marnier. So ANGELIC and then MARNIER. So my YouTube is under my name, Angelique Marnier. Thanks for asking about that, Leslie. And it's good to see you. We got to catch up. In stream.